Hi everybody, welcome back to the Millcreek Government Channel. I'm Phil Fatica. Thank you for joining us today. Two gentlemen from PennDOT. One of them is the expert on bridges and the other one is the expert on Act 89. And we all know what Act 89 is, don't we?
We do.
We do. Okay, let me introduce you. Sitting next to me is Jim Carroll. Jim is the District Press Officer, and that's District 1. And sitting next to him is Bill Kohler. He is the District 1 Bridge Engineer. Got those correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, District 1 being not just Erie, but?
Erie, Crawford, Warren, Forest, Venango, and Mercer counties.
You got a big slice of the pie. 6 counties, yeah, 6 counties. What we're here today is to talk about a lot of the stuff that I'm sure you're aware of. There's been a tax initiated that says we're going to improve the infrastructures, we're going to improve the bridges, and you can see behind me there is a sign that says geosynthetic reinforced soil abutments, blocks, gravel, fabric. He is going to tell us all about what you see in front of me. So let's get to that first before we talk about Act 89. Bill, what's the deal with this? Now, I understand this is going to be a new way of doing this bridges, forced bridges, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, because I'm out of my element here completely. Why is this so notable that we're paying attention to this now?
This was a really innovative concept developed by the Forest Service out west.
Okay.
And if you go to the next slide,
yeah,
they experimented with fabric and gravel.
Okay, that would be here?
That'd be gravel.
All right,
yeah.
This is the gravel I'm holding.
In
up,
layers.
So you can see this one. And it is, okay. Just ordinary gravel? Or?
No, it's number 8 crushed stone.
Number 8 crushed stone. Everybody can see that. Okay, got that.
So like is up here, this is really nothing new. The Babylonians worked with it, just mats of reeds and gravel or dirt that was and do it in layers, and you put bridge beams on top, and like this thing says over here, it is earthquake proof. Because it moves with the earthquake.
Okay, there's a good shot of it right there. I don't know if I can
So
pull
it's
it
actually
out.
stronger.
You can see it a little bit there. Just ordinary gravel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, great. Next thing.
Next thing is the next slide. So it's a really strong material, which is amazing for me because we're used to dealing with steel and concrete.
Yeah.
And this actually, in earthquake environment, would be stronger than steel and concrete.
We're not so much of an earthquake environment, though, in Pennsylvania, but we do have them. Is that
We do
correct?
have them, that's right.
Okay, so this gravel is going to go on this piece of material here?
Right.
Which
As
is
it
what?
Shows there.
Yeah, which is what?
This is a really strong fabric.
Okay.
Much stronger than the bed sheets you saw in the last one.
Okay.
It's got like 4,800 pull-out strength in all directions.
So this would go on the top?
That would go on the top in an 8-inch layer.
8-inch each?
Just like the thickness of a block.
Great, okay, good shot there we got, guys. Good job, there it is. Okay, next.
Then you put another layer on top.
Okay.
Gravel, geotextile, gravel, geotextile, and you have yourself an abutment. And then you put beams on it, and there you can see it.
Yeah, okay. And how long does that process take, Bill?
We've had them constructed in as fast as 1 month.
Wow.
And because there is very little poured concrete,
okay.
You can get out of the stream really quickly, which is important for us when it's high water and lots of rainy environment that we have.
So these other things that are in front of me then are going to be used for, or are, these items here.
Yeah. Now those are for waterproofing bridges.
Okay, waterproofing. All right. So different topic completely?
Yeah.
Okay,
An
Jim?
advantage of this, in addition to earthquakes,
this.
is that it's less expensive and it's faster to replace small bridges.
Okay.
Which is an application not only for us, but for our municipal partners, cities,
Sure.
townships, boroughs who own bridges. This is a good possibility for them to replace small bridges using material that is locally available, quicker, and less expensive.
Nice. I noticed that that is a smaller bridge right there too. So we're not talking about something that goes across Interstate 90 around Wesleyville. That's this very long bridge. Would you be talking about this?
Well, this technology is used all over the country, and Utah just built one on an interstate using GRS. So it's not just for small bridges, but that's what in Pennsylvania we've built 13 of them.
Just going to ask you that.
Yep.
In our district, how many?
In our district, we have 3.
3 located where?
We have one in Crawford, one in Mercer, two in Crawford and one in Mercer.
And the general public driving across, walking across, never know the difference?
That's right.
Okay, okay, interesting. The advantages, again, that you do this geosynthetic reinforced soil is?
It's a very stable bridge.
Okay.
It's less expensive. It takes less time to build.
Okay.
The materials are readily available locally. It can have some real advantages once we get the technology perfected.
Yeah.
So you're looking at a half to 2/3 the cost of a
Wow.
normal bridge.
That's significant.
And it can be done with common labor. You don't need specialized labor to put gravel and spread it out.
One of my other notes says, what do you mean when you talk about department force bridge work?
Okay, well that would be each county has a bridge crew, and they maintain bridges and they also build new ones.
PennDOT has
PennDOT.
Okay.
They build simple bridges. Right now we're limited to 33 feet long
Okay.
by our capacity to produce the beams.
Okay. Okay. All right, let's jump ahead then, because I want to get to this.
There is a little
material.
interaction.
We got one more slide.
Oh, we do? I
Yep.
beg your pardon. I'm sorry. I thought we were almost done with that one. I thought we were done with that one, rather. Jim, you do a good job doing that, too.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm really...
This is a GRS abutment we built in Crawford, and we used our own precast channel beams,
Okay.
which the department force crews fabricate in the winter when they're not plowing snow.
Okay.
And these
And-
are also available for we also have made them for other districts, like our neighboring district over in Clearfield, but we can also make them for municipalities. So a municipality could come to us and they could design a GRS abutment bridge. They could actually build it themselves with their own labor, because that's been done in the past, and they could use our channel beams for the superstructure.
Interesting. Yeah, interesting. Okay. Is that the last slide? Last one
Yes,
is the one.
right.
Then let's move on to the other materials that I have over here in front of me. This right here is
That's pure epoxy.
pure epoxy. And you use that why? What for?
That glues, that seals off
there,
the
my
bridge deck,
Okay.
and with gravel, that makes a solid wearing surface.
Okay. This and this.
Right.
These and this are the...
That's the epoxy overlay, and we have them on all the bridges on I-90 on between
Good shot,
Peach
guys.
and 430.
Okay.
And we also have it on the Conrail Bridge on I-79 going into the Bayfront. So we're using it in Union City. We're using it all over as a way to keep salt and water from deteriorating.
Yeah.
That's what happens when salt gets with concrete, and then of course common rust.
There you go. There's one, and there's the rust. There's the salt, and there's the rust. Kind of hard in our area, though, to salt and rust kind of go together, don't they? I mean, you know, the person or people who invent how to defeat this are going to be a gazillionaire and won't have to go to work tomorrow ever, you know, for sure. Now, this right here, then, is the, one more thing to show you folks. This is the...
This is the membrane waterproofing you put under blacktop. So
Okay.
it's our other method other than epoxy.
Okay, so this peels off
Yep.
right there. You see that? You can see that one? Okay, good. Very good.
And the
very
heat
good.
of the blacktop bonds that to the concrete, and they say it should last at least 40 years.
40.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's very inexpensive.
Right.
So makes sense to use it.
Oh, absolutely.
The bridges we design now are designed to last 100 years.
Is that so? Is that so?
That's right.
And that would lead me to my next question. The Act 89 is money that is going to be going to use to repair, replace, you know?
It is.
We're kind of at the end of that cycle of the Eisenhower Interstate and the bridges and all of that money that was used, and people were supporting it with fees and gas taxes, et cetera, et cetera. You have 9 years to talk about Act 89, Mr. Carroll.
Act 89 was enacted by the legislature in a bipartisan bill signed by the governor, and it provides desperately needed transportation funding.
Yeah, to repair, and we all know that what those are. We know. I think it was a bold move that it was bipartisan, and people said it's got to be done.
It did have to be done.
Now, a lot of people might say, too, well, doggone it, why don't you just think about this as you went along? Well, that's nice. That's hindsight, perhaps. But I think all states are pretty much in this particular predicament. I mean, in some cities, the larger cities, the bridges are just, I don't want to point to Pittsburgh, but Pittsburgh has a lot of bridges. Okay, New York has a lot of bridges. Chicago has a lot of bridges. And
some states are looking at us as a model.
Yes.
They would like to do what we did. And they're trying hard to meet their transportation needs.
Yeah, yes, yeah. Act 89, as I said, kicked in first of the year, and it's because of that, either one, Jim, Bill, because of that, there's going to be a pool of money. What can we expect out of that then? What's going to happen?
Well,
what's the timeline, so to speak? Because I know the timeline is not tomorrow or 2 weeks, it's years down the road.
Our transportation system was underfunded for decades.
Okay.
We simply did not have the money to maintain the road system as it is. Mm-hmm. Without this, there would have had to been significant changes in the way the state does business with its roads.
Yeah.
The first year in District 1, we got $50.6 million for paving. We paved 202 miles of roads. Mm-hmm. We got another $7.5 million for bridges. We replaced or rehabilitated 7 bridges.
Okay.
That type of investment will play forward as the money continues. Mm-hmm. For this, we tarred and chipped, seal-coated traffic roads that we should have paved. Mm-hmm. We paved roads that we would have liked to reconstruct. So this puts us in a position now to catch up with a significant backlog of road and bridge projects.
I got to tell you, Bill, I know that, you're coming from, we have this salt rust thing going on here. I mean, you go to South Carolina, you go to Florida, you go to parts of Texas and California, and I kind of like get a little upset that Philadelphia sometimes gets more money than they should get. I mean, I'm kind of selfish in saying we need to get our fair share here, boys.
Philadelphia generates more money as well.
Do they? How so?
Well, if you think, look at the traffic volume on roads.
Yeah.
How much traffic volume is needed to generate the money to care for that road? Mm-hmm. Philadelphia has huge traffic volumes.
We have a daughter that lives in South Jersey. Right. I can tell you what it's like to go there.
Rural road in Erie County, Warren County, how long would it take to generate the money to maintain that road? So actually, in one respect, we're being subsidized a little by Philadelphia.
Well, it's about time. I'll say that. You can't.
So.
I can say that.
And you mentioned that it's curious because we get that question: why, why the need for this here? Mm-hmm. Well, the fact of the matter is, we have either the 4th or 5th largest transportation system in the nation.
Pennsylvania.
Right.
Or
state-owned roads. State-owned roads.
Okay.
There's Texas, Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, and us. Mm-hmm. We're the only one with winter weather, freeze-thaw cycles, salt.
There you go. Yeah.
We have more state-owned roads or about as many state-owned roads as New York, New Jersey, and all 6 New England states combined, and about twice as many as Ohio.
How come that happened? How'd that happen?
We have state ownership of these roads. We're a large state. Some other states may have more municipal ownership.
Yeah. Can you say to the municipalities, we don't want these roads anymore, you take care of them?
We have a turn-back program.
Yeah.
It has to be mutually beneficial to both.
Okay.
And
okay.
Occasionally we'll turn back a road.
Yeah, okay. Well, we're doing this, and it's a little brisk outside, and snow is on the ground. That's an understatement. Not a bad winter, though. And everybody says, well, God darn PennDOT, they didn't plow my roads. Where the heck are they? I'm calling them up, them rascals. How do you respond to that, Jim?
Our guys, our maintenance guys do winter maintenance, snow removal as well as anybody. Mm-hmm. They can't be in every place at one time.
Right.
Okay? When it flash freezes, when the whole county suddenly turns to ice, we just can't be everywhere at once. Right. I think the average snow route in Erie is 50 miles. Mm-hmm. How long does it take you 50 miles in the snow, to drive 50 miles in the snow?
Oh, sure.
That's how long it takes that plow driver. Mm-hmm. If there's traffic, if somebody gets stuck, if there's an accident, there's a line of traffic, well, guess what? Our truck's in that traffic. Mm-hmm. He can't magically get around it.
Is it fair to say, though, that there are some roads that PennDOT does not plow, that the municipalities would take over?
Well,
I mean, I don't know.
municipally owned roads.
Okay.
Now, you know.
But if the state owns it, it's your responsibility? Are you saying
Yes,
that?
yes.
Okay.
But I will
Because I don't
say-
know if people can distinguish between Millcreek owns the road, Corey owns the
It's
road.
difficult, right.
Erie owns the road.
Right.
Why aren't they out here plowing, you know?
In a major storm, in a snow event, our first priority is the interstates, high traffic routes. The next priority would be secondary roads, the lowest priority. At times, we will take resources from the secondary roads to help keep major traffic routes and interstates passable.
Yeah. Bill, we don't want to leave you out of the conversation. Do you play into any of what Jim is talking about, or is you're more the, I'm doing the research, I'm overseeing how this is all being done, or do you get behind the wheel of that 30-tonner and get bounced around for a couple hours?
I guess you could say we do it in the fact that we have been playing catch-up as far as replacing bridges that should have been replaced years ago.
Yeah.
Once we're starting to get rid of a lot of those, and we can put more money into waterproofing, like we did 38th Street over 79 last year.
Okay.
We're going to do some other big ones in the area, and that would be...
Let me ask you about that. I take that road a lot. I do it. That's just my travel mode. And I really didn't feel inconvenienced by that because it was easy just to duck down here, go over there. And I think what you did was really, I don't know, did you get a lot of complaints about that? Why are you shutting the road down? I have to go. I mean, come on, I know you're going to get some, but I thought it turned out great. You worked fast, you were efficient, people could see what you were doing, how long it takes to do these things. Just pat yourself on the back if you want to.
Well, I think it's the type of project we like to do. Keep something, improve it, and walk away. It looks better, and for me, knowing it's got waterproof membrane on there, I know that deck is going to be sound for 100 years.
Yeah, that's really nice.
And that's the key to me, that's the key to getting ahead in this funding game, is if we keep things from deteriorating in the first place.
That's a really good statement.
But a lot of that...
Say that again. That's a very good, in this funding
We
game.
got to have minimal deterioration, makes everything last longer. And that's what we're sort of fighting in the 50s and 60s. They didn't foresee the amount of salt we're putting down on the roads and the traffic, and so they didn't design their bridges to be waterproof.
Well, speaking of that salt, isn't there any kind of a material that does not do this or this? I mean, are they working on something that is not as corrosive, it doesn't cause rust? I know when I go across 79 heading into the city there's that one bridge that says we may be spraying. And what are they spraying there that doesn't seem to be as abusive as the salt and cause the rust?
They spray salt brine.
They do. It is salt.
They have experimented, and we have used different chemicals, magnesium chloride, things like this, that have a lower melting point. They're expensive, and they're a little tricky, too. I mean, if you use them as salt, you hit a certain temperature, and they're subject to refreeze. It'll melt at a certain temperature, and it freezes again. So and the cost. So they balance all that and use sodium, salt, and salt brine as our primary weapons in the battle of salt in winter. But there are times when we have used other chemicals in an attempt to deal with particularly cold weather.
So we have the technology, though, with epoxy and the membrane to keep salt and water from actually getting on the deck. So whatever you put on the deck, as long as I got that on, it doesn't matter to me.
Well, you mentioned about bridges, and not too long ago in the Erie newspaper, there's campaigns at various communities throughout the state, I'm sure, will say, no, we don't want you to take down that bridge, we want this bridge, and yet the statistics can be overwhelming that say, gee, you know, it doesn't seem to be that you have a lot of solid evidence that supports why we should spend a whole lot of money to maintain this, because you could just go over here and get the same results. So it must be tough to tell a community, you know, something that you've attached yourself to is not going to be here anymore. Is that purely an economic reason? I don't want to put words in your mouth.
Economics.
You can refute it.
In the transportation system, you're referring to the Sanford Road Bridge.
Yeah.
There was a 1.5, 2-year study that determined it was a redundant bridge. There are alternatives close by without a long detour. Often in a rural area, if you're talking about a detour around a bridge, it's a long ride.
Yes.
But in this case, there's bridges within a couple miles either way. It has a very low traffic volume. And at some point, you have to exercise some fiscal responsibility and question whether it's worth spending $3 million on a structure that's going to have to be replaced. It carries, what, less than 300, far less than that, 50. I can't remember what the traffic volume.
Small number.
But a small number when you have good alternatives nearby.
Now, I remember about a year and a half ago or so, the truck ran into a bridge over Interstate 90, Platts Road, is it?
Platts Road.
Yeah, and you go, wow, how did the truck really took this bridge out? It was taken down, and if memory serves me correctly, the neighbors said, no problem. I mean, there was not a big blowback on that.
No, there wasn't.
You know, yeah, it's going to cost what to do what, and,
Yeah.
and that seemed to be an agreeable situation for you and them.
Yeah, well, that was not a conscious decision to take the bridge down. That was
Yeah.
an accident, of course, or
Yeah.
carelessness, however you put it. I mean, the driver knew or should have known. And that's the problem with bridges on the western part of Interstate 90. Often they have a low clearance.
Yeah, I travel that road a lot. We have a daughter that lives over in Ohio. And my next question is, and you don't have to answer this, the person that drove into that bridge, they pay for it? I mean, that they go, hey, this is going to cost your company some bucks here.
Yeah, we hope. It's not a...
Bill's nodding affirmatively.
If we catch them. Yeah, we got to
yes.
catch them first.
Right, we did catch this
Yeah.
one.
Oh, really?
Somebody turned him in, yes.
Okay.
So we know who did it, we know the company. It's not a quick and clean, you did this,
Yeah.
where's our money? They'll look at the condition of the bridge, how much life was left. Like your car, you total your car, your insurance company's going to look and say, well,
Yeah,
so we look at that.
$1.50 here.
And ultimately, I don't know this to be the case in here, but I suspect it's gone to litigation, and it'll take years
Yeah.
to recover, money for that.
I was always amazed by the amount of traffic there is, like on, say, on an interstate. Can you give us some numbers, like peak time, and you say, well, my God, my driveway was driven that many times, and the weight of those semis was on my driveway all that whole time. It would be crumbling in a week. Big numbers for some of the roads around our area.
Here, 990 runs around, I believe.
40?
Yeah, something like that.
About 40,000?
In a 24-hour period.
Now that would be ADT, so that would be cars and
Average
trucks.
daily traffic.
Okay.
But then if you put
yeah, okay, average daily.
10% trucks or something like that, that's what you're talking.
And that's not all of I-90, that's east of Peach Street.
Yes, okay, east of Peach.
Right.
Oh, interesting. Why east of Peach? Do they get off at Peach? And
Yes, I-90 is not only an interstate in Erie County, it's a local road too.
Yes.
People use it for
Sure.
commuting.
Okay.
And that section of I-90 gets the most travel.
How much do you say that some of these huge trucks, I mean, you see the state police there going, you better pull over and go into the weigh station. I think you're a few pounds over today. What's the limit?
That's my concern. Average semi today is legally 80,000.
Pounds. I'm sorry, pounds.
80,000 pounds. That'd be 40 tons.
Yeah.
But we have, since I started back in the early 80s, overloads, and I'm talking trucks that weigh 200,000 and actually 400, and we're just
serious?
permitting. Yeah, we're permitting some.
What are they carrying?
800,000 pounds. They carry a cold box. They carry a huge press. Huge loads that are going over our
Industrial
highways.
equipment.
And those loads are getting more and more common every year. And then there's also a special class of vehicles that they can get a special annual permit for. So a truck with 2 steel coils weighing 125,000 pounds for $200, he can get a permit to go anywhere in the whole state for his whole fleet for $200. And he's, what, from 80 to 125,000? He's 40,000 pounds overweight. And those loads continue to increase as the legislature gives more and more of those annual permits out. So there's bulk water, there's plywood, there's just all kinds of loads that exceed that 80,000. So for me, we design a normal stress level here and we a maximum stress level up here. So as these loads increase, we're cutting into our margin of safety and longevity, and that's a concern to me.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
And that's
Jim,
a
go ahead,
factor
yeah.
that enters into the bridges in western Erie County. Often these trucks can't negotiate those because they're low. They'll have to take Route 20, they'll have to take other routes. That keeps some of them from I-90, and some of the ones that have hit bridges should have been on other routes.
Yeah.
Sanford Road, we mentioned that, and there was something I forgot to mention. We're not just closing the bridge, we're making highway improvements to Sanford Road and Nash Road to try to compensate, mitigate that by improving the highway system, and we hope that'll help.
Again, we're talking to Jim Carroll. He was just speaking to you. Jim is the district press officer for District 1, and then Bill Kohler is the bridge engineer for District 1. Are you a civil engineer?
Yes.
Congratulations. My uncle was a civil engineer, too. Helped build a plant in Suriname, Dutch West Guyana, northern coast of South America, to process bauxite. That was back in the 60s. And he just passed away. He's 98. And we went on Google Earth to see if it was still there. And it's still there. Yeah, he was amazed to see that. So congratulations to both of you. We got about a couple of minutes left. Let's do with Bill. Talk a little bit about this fact that we're doing this to make this, and then Jim, you can wrap up about Act 89. So, Bill, all yours.
Next slide. This is just an example of them putting the epoxy down, which you saw there. And then the next slide is them putting down the, so that's on the I-79 bridge going over Conrail and 16th Street. And this is out here on I-90. You can see they're putting down the membrane. Yeah. So, to me, when we get these bridges waterproofed, I rest easy, knowing that they're not going to deteriorate.
Yeah.
It's a cheap method.
Good. Jim, you got the last minute.
Act 89 was essential to help us maintain and improve the highway system. It'll make Pennsylvania more competitive. It'll bring back jobs in private industry, contractors, consultants, manufacturers, equipment suppliers, material suppliers. It'll allow us to do some things to get this road system back. I mean, we're looking at a robust paving program in Erie next year. A big project on the horizon is reconstructing the first 18 miles of I-90, Western I-90.
I thank you for that. We're going to visit our daughter in Cleveland.
That's
Thank you.
not going to happen tomorrow.
No, I know.
But we do have authorization to begin preliminary engineering of the first 3 miles.
Okay.
So you're right, they were built under the Eisenhower administration and forward, and it is time that many of them have to be given attention, rebuilt.
And we will take care of the we get rid of all the overhead bridges that are deficient.
No, okay. Our time has run out. Thanks,
you.
Jim, for coming up. Bill, always a pleasure to see you. Thank you for joining us. Very informative today, all about the people at PennDOT. Thanks again for joining us. I'm Phil Fatica. Until next time, take care.
You're watching the Millcreek Government Channel, powered by WQLN Public Media.